we can walk through what actually would have to happen, because it's my view. Like, I actually have maybe one of the most unpopular views in the subject, and I actually think an actual separation discussion, a thoughtful separation discussion, is the most likely way to actually strengthen Confederation. Because I don't think having the economic engine of Alberta subdued is good for the entire country. Like, it's just not. It's just not good for, raising revenue of the country. But we are economically subdued here in Alberta. Like that's there. There's no doubt about it, right? And let's look through the history of that. Okay, so 2018 Bill C-74, and that introduces the federal carbon pricing system. Okay, and then 2019 Bill 69. That introduces the environmental assessments, and it basically increases the difficulty of environmental assessments. It was the kind of no pipeline bill. Like, basically, it was going to make...
It's a no development bill.
Yeah, it was going to make the development so costly and cumbersome and uncertain that no one would invest capital to get that far.
And it worked.
It worked.
Yeah.
Like, projects were pulled, like on scale. Like, we know that, right?
Billions.
And then, to make matters worse, in the same year, in 2019, Bill C-48, banning oil tankers in northern BC. So even if you could get the project built, you're going to ship it on rail cars that to make the product economically uncompetitive.
Yeah.
So
and I don't know. Is there a railway to China that we've got being built right now?
Yeah,
no, I don't think so.
And think about, when I go back to this wasn't in the best interest of the country either. It's like, what are we in the situation right now? Negotiating a trade deal with Trump, who holds all the cards, because we don't have mechanisms to ship out our products.
Right. And when Pierre Poilievre said that Canada is stupid, he wasn't wrong, because we have no other mechanism to sell oil or natural gas to anywhere else in the world, really, because we haven't built any pipelines. We don't have any infrastructure that's built. We're being completely roadblocked by Ottawa the entire way, and other provinces are also wanting to stand in the way. So, really, when it comes to us having leverage, we got none.
Yeah.
And I wish Pierre would have talked more and more and more about that and gotten on more podcasts to talk about that, but he didn't. Missed opportunity. And so let's continue on with this discussion about separation.
I mean, 2021, Bill C-262, and it basically increased Indigenous rights in resource development. So again, just made it more cumbersome, more uncertain it's not like they didn't have rights before. It's just you created a different level of unproven uncertainty in going through it. And then 2021, Bill C-12, forced net zero targets. I mean, forced net zero targets. Like, it's just like here we are, and you see this trade war. And I talking to people, I was stuck in the Manila airport, and I was talking to some Canadians, because the Air Canada flight was, the plane broke down, and so everyone's stuck in the airport, and most of them are Canadians, and they're just like, they're talking about pulling the liquor off the shelves. I'm like,
stupid.
You're pulling the liquor. You think that's going to make the Americans run scared because you're pulling the liquor off the shelves? Like, what would make them run scared if you realize that, Canada has oil, that the world still runs on oil. We have a tremendous amount of natural gas. We have the most high-grade uranium in the world. We have highly desirable potash that can be sold anywhere in the world. What would really make them run scared is to realize that we have mechanisms and the resolve to sell it to the rest of the world instead of them.
Which we don't have.
We don't. And we painted ourselves into this place, right?
So when Pierre said Canada is stupid, Canada is stupid. Sorry if you're offended by that, but that is the dumbest thing to have. We have one customer, and that customer is going to love us forever, and they're going to, always deal fairly with us. No, they have all the leverage because they can choose to buy it or not buy it.
Yeah.
Like,
I have one customer who I also buy from. This is mentioned if I have a business. I have one customer I also buy from, and that customer becomes disgruntled. And my solution is to get petty with that one customer instead of finding new customers. Like, that would be a terrible business decision, and this is what we've chosen to engage in.
Yeah,
right?
And I mean, we give advice all the time to business owners, right? And we say, oh, you have a sole source contract It's the only source of business you have. You should probably, get some better marketing and build your team out and find more customers. Because if that guy changes their mind, whether it's the government or someone else, you're hooped. And where are we right now? Mark Carney, he's going to elbows up and he's going to fight Trump. It's like, what the hell are you talking about? I want to swear, but this is a family-friendly podcast.
Are you 5? Like,
right?
Like, we have highly desirable products that are desirable all throughout the world, and we can't figure out the solution. Like, the solution is painfully easy. It's like, can you build those trade networks tomorrow? No. Will it take 10 years? Also, no. If you started now, like, this is easy. It's relatively easy to solve. In the short term, you could bridge the gap, like, because you're going to bridge the gap. I mean, it wouldn't be as economically painful as locking everyone in their houses for 2 years.
Right?
Like, it wouldn't be as economically, you wouldn't have to print as much money as you did to lock everyone in their houses for 2 years to bridge the gap while you establish new trade networks. Like, mathematically, that's a relative certainty, right? And so that's why when I say, like, a real discussion on Alberta separation that actually recognizes these issues is probably the most path to a stronger confederation, because the deals that would have to happen to satisfy Alberta would basically are the deals to restart that economic engine that exists that would benefit everyone. But you can't really have a negotiation without leverage.
Got to have leverage.
You can't have a negotiation with leverage. Canada can't have a negotiation with Trump on trade deals when he's our only customer, when the U.S. is our only customer. And Alberta can't have a negotiation on separation when we don't have the ability to walk away. And,
and precisely.
And I'm going to, like, break this down for people because people don't understand. It's like Alberta's like the abused spouse, and they're threatening to leave, but they don't have a driver's license or bank account.
Yeah,
and the abusers, like, they just don't believe them, right?
Yeah.
And I don't mean the 300 plus idiots in Ottawa. I mean the bankers who actually run the joint in Toronto.
Yeah.
Like, they don't believe the rhetoric, right?
You need to do something that strikes the fear into their heart and makes them, be a little bit nervous about Alberta actually making a different deal so that, it affects their bottom line, right? So when we have that, there's nothing in place right now that's going to do that. Whether you got even half the province to vote some kind of referendum, it can't happen because we are still tethered to the Canadian system. We can't do it. We can't do it just yet.
And so the path is clear. Like, the path has been clear for 24 years.
Yeah.
So Stephen Harper and a couple of other conservatives got together. They wrote the letter to Ralph Klein. And they said, this is the way to proceed to protect Alberta's interests. And it was called the Firewall letter. And it was sent to the National Post. And I'm going to go through the items. This has existed for 24 years. And I hear this, and, we're talking about separation and reducing the votes, reducing the signatures required to trigger a referendum. You're going to see, I'm going to go through this on what you actually have to do to have a real separation discussion, and it's a big, long, hard project, right? But everyone thinks it'll just be a quick vote tomorrow and we'll all be magically prosperous. I'm going to say, like, how ridiculous that is number one, you have to withdraw from CPP prior to having
Clutches
a separation discussion.
Goodness.
You cannot have a referendum, because just think about it logically. It's like all of a sudden you've left that disgruntled ex, but they still have all your retirement money. How is that going to go for you after that happens, right? Like,
and look what happened in this last election. All the boomers who are receiving their CPP, they clutch their pearls and like, not my precious CPP. Oh my God. Like, how dare you touch my CPP? We have to get out of that. Number one, it's a scam. Number two, even with an APP, it's a stupid idea, whether you agree with me or not, but it's holy hell.
Over $800 billion in unfunded liabilities. Of course, they're going to fight about how much they're going to pay you out because they don't have the money. That's why they're going to fight. It's not like they have the money, right? If we all stop paying into CPP tomorrow, if you didn't have more new entrants coming into CPP than people exiting the workforce, it would be insolvent, right? It's a literal definition of a Ponzi.
Yeah, the Canada Ponzi program.
And so you have to have that sorted out. You have to be withdrawn. And people will say, oh my God, it's like, yeah, the same as Quebec.
Right?
The same as Quebec. Like, this is not an unheard of thing. It's like you have to withdraw from CPP. That has to be worked out prior to having a referendum.
Yeah, we're just asking for the same stuff that Quebec is doing.
That's right. Okay, so that's number one. Number two, if this was in the firewall letter, and it all makes perfect sense. It's like you have to be collecting the provincial taxes directly. Right now, when you pay your payroll remittances through your paycheck, if you're an employee, it goes straight to Ottawa. It goes straight to Ottawa. Your payroll remittances go that way. It's like the provincial government would have to be collecting the personal taxes for its citizens directly. And just think about it. You need a functional taxation department before you leave. You can't work this out a day after or 2 months before. It's like they're woefully understaffed and underqualified to accomplish this task in any short time.
And what other province can do this?
Just like Quebec.
Just like Quebec.
Again, this is not unheard of stuff. The first two items are exactly like Quebec. And has that given Quebec some leverage? You better believe it gave them some leverage to do it. It's like, good on them. It was smart enough to do it. It's like, it's actually kind of useful that provinces compete with each other. And so, this thought that everyone's going to be kumbaya and do everything for the other provinces. Like, no, they're going to look out for their own province's interests. And if you don't have any leverage, it's like, that's your own fault. And so that has to be, you have to have the retirement program worked out, and you have to have a functioning taxation department before you even talk about this subject.
Yeah.
Like, before you even talk about. And this was in the firewall letter, 24 years ago.
Yep, I read it this morning.
24 years ago,
I even posted it on
Stephen Harper
X.
told Ralph Klein, like, this is what has to happen. Like, and this is just to protect the interest. This is actually to have a discussion. And number three. And number three is going to be so painfully obvious when I tell people. It's like, you have to kick out the RCMP and have a functioning police force. Just think about it, people. It's like, you have to have a functioning police force before you can be a sovereign nation. It's like, this is very, very basic stuff, right? And, the RCMP are currently under contract until 2032. And these are long-term planning issues. That might not be what you want to hear. But I believe when Stephen Harper wrote this letter to Ralph Klein, it was 2001, and the RCMP were under contract at that time until 2012. We could have been out. He was being very thoughtful, and he was being very forthcoming. It's not like, oh, we're just going to reduce the signatures and get this done quickly. It's like, it's like, I'm sorry, either I can't say it. It's like either Danielle Smith is too stupid or she's a fake freedom fighter, and that's hard for me. And it's like, and people might say it's like, oh, what are you, an NDP or something? It's like, no, I'm just a realist. I actually think it's reasonable to have a separation discussion. I think it's probably the most logical path. It's a high risk, high reward path to a stronger Canada, but it either results in a stronger Canada or a stronger Alberta, one or the other.
That's right.
But in order for it to actually happen, it's hard, and there's multiple, years and pain that we'd have to go through, because I'm going to keep going through it, and it gets harder. It gets harder than the first three.
All right,
okay?
Let's bring the pain.
Okay, here's the pain. Here you go. Ready, people? You got to withdraw from the Canada Health Act. Non-compliance in the Canada Health Act.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, and
what people would lose their ever-loving minds.
That's right.
Right?
But let's break it down. What does that actually mean? What does that actually mean? Okay. That means the federal government is going to stop sending you $5 billion a year. Okay. They're going to stop sending you $5 billion per year. And people don't put this in perspective, but what's the Alberta government revenue per year? It's about $80 billion. I'm going to go round numbers. We get $5 billion, right? We get $5 billion in health transfers that would disappear. Now, we could fight them in the courts. That's how this likely, stems, but that funding will end the next day. They will cut off that funding. They will play hardball on that. And that's, best case scenario. That doesn't resume until a lengthy multi-year court battle. Best case, worst case scenario, it's gone forever. That is the likely result. And so people have to wonder, okay, that means, and I'm not for this, we're going to run up a bunch of debt. I'm just tired of that. I'm just tired of that bullshit. It's okay, so that means, we have to raise tax revenue by 7 or 8%, like across the board, like in somehow, some way, whether that's, resource revenue, whether that's personal income taxes,
sales tax,
whether it's a sales tax. It's like, we're getting real, people.
Yeah.
Like there's going to be some pain to get there if you actually want to get yourself in a position. But just think about that at that point. It's like you're going to be fully gone from CPP. You're collecting your taxes. You have a fully functional police force.
Yeah.
Okay. You have a fully functional police, and you've basically given Ottawa the middle finger on their $5 billion, golden handcuffs, right?
Yeah. Thank you so much for the absolutely terrible healthcare system that we have. And, like for me, I think if we're going to be paying that $5 billion, making up that shortfall, it's got to be better.
That's right.
It's got to be better.
Exactly. So it's not just withdrawing from that Canada Health back, because you're going to have to win a very difficult referendum. You have to withdraw from the Canada Health Act, go through the absolute, nightmare of a PR that's going to be, and people are going to be up in arms. And then you, on a multi-year timeline, demonstrate to people that the healthcare system got objectively better.
Yeah.
Objectively better.
Yeah.
Right?
I just got to put it out there that, the healthcare system in Canada is a sacred cow that needs to be slaughtered. Like, it is awful. It is not very good. It is low grade, government mandated socialist healthcare that it's rationed. You get what you get, be happy with it, or die. Yeah. And they would rather you die, actually. Like, they'll offer it to you first.
And the criticism is always people saying, "Oh, you want an American healthcare system." As if there's not 198 other countries in the world to look at. Right? It's like, just because you don't like the healthcare system in Canada and sitting in the waiting room dying in the emergency room if something's literally wrong with you, is like, "Oh, I definitely want the American system." It's like, no, like, there are better systems out there.
100% there are.
Like, the goal is not to be, it's just that second fiddle to the American thing. It's like, that's the only other place. It's like, no, it's to be the best in the world, not the same as the Americans.
No, like broken record.
They're not really great at healthcare either.
Go find out where they have a really well-functioning system where they both have a private and a public sector of it, and follow that model. One's that more successful. Ours is one of the lowest out of all the countries that provide some kind of socialist medicine. Ours ranks the lowest. Yeah. Figure it out, people. Okay.
And so then it's you think about this now. You've withdrawn from CPP.
Yeah.
Okay. You're collecting provincial taxes. You have a functioning police force, and you have a functioning healthcare system that is now demonstrated to be objectively better than the previous one. Okay, you're paying some extra taxes for this to happen. Okay, they had to raise revenue to do it, because borrowing fake money and making the province more heavily in debt to do it is not useful, right?
Yeah,
and now all of a sudden. Now, when you come to the negotiation table after that, now the people running the joint, not the 300 plus idiots in Ottawa, but the bankers in Toronto, they're like, oh boy, they're serious. Like that. That's the point where they would know. But people don't like the solution because
it's hard.
It's a decade.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
It's a decade. And it should have started in 2019.
Yeah, when all of these bills were passed. It should have started
as soon as they landlocked. Like, it should have started. Like, nothing changed because Mark Carney got elected last week. Like nothing changed because Mark Carney was elected. Like, it's ridiculous that, like, why now? Like, all of a sudden we're gonna, like, give some tough talk on the rhetoric, right? And you haven't even bridged the gap on the legal claims that the Indigenous people would have over the separation. On do they have to join the seceding entity? Like that's a hard barrier, right?
It's another barrier, but also let's take a look at the Indian Act. The Indian Act is horrible. It's another level of government bureaucracy that prevents them from developing anything on their own lands.
True. So the most logical way to demonstrate that is just to demonstrate prosperity. You have to demonstrate
100%.
prosperity. Like, yeah, it's to demonstrate. It's like, this system is actually working better. We're actually seeing improvements. Like, we want to come along with this thing, right?
Right.
And so it's not to get a small group of people on their signature together. It's like, this is a big, life-changing project, right? And this is the point where in any negotiation, you're not going to get a good deal unless you're ready to walk away. And Alberta's in no position to walk away. I'm sorry. Like, we're just in no position to walk away. And to have leaders come out, like, I don't like it because it gives people false hope. And it makes them think that all of a sudden, you know, it's just like Poilievre's going to come in or Danielle Smith's going to save me. It's like, no one's coming to save you.
No one.
No one is coming to save you. And then the more I hear from them, it's just like the worse it gets because it's completely illogical, right? So this is going to be a complete and utter distraction, the way this is being run out. As soon as I heard that the signatures dropping to 175, like, that's the most weak sauce thing I've ever heard.